Hello and welcome to another video from the only YouTube channel you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today we're going to talk about why you need a bread machine for SHTF. Now most people recognize the fact that when the S H's the F, there ain't going to be no electricity, and bread machines are electric. However, this is not for that time. This is simply to get you to that time. Every prepper I know has got a food storage system. Most, if not all, keep flour as part of that system. I keep two 25-pound sacks myself. And food of any kind has to be rotated in and rotated out. It's simple enough when you got a can and all you got to do is open it and pour it in a bowl, put it in the microwave. But bread from flour is a little bit more involved. Some people are so busy that they can't even use a bread machine. So you're certainly not going to be able to make bread from scratch every day. My wife and I use this bread machine at least 3 times a week, usually more than that. And we don't eat that much bread or pizza or any of the other things we make with this thing. We make everything from, our breadcrumbs to croutons, cornbread, cakes, everything. But we have chickens, and it is nice to always have a fresh loaf of bread sitting on the shelf and not to have to buy all those other things we just talked about. But if you really, I always say that whatever you're going to do after the end of the world as we know it is what you need to be doing now. That is true for the most part. You need to have your taste buds acclimated to the types of things you're going to be stuck with after this is all over with. But for the most part, as long as we live under the influence of the empire, we have got 40 to 70 hour work weeks, we've got school, we've got social obligations, church, all them kind of things. You're just not going to have time to make homemade bread every other day from scratch. What that means, you'd be throwing away a lot of good food. Flour is an extremely labor intensive, energy intensive food. It's just a shame to have to waste any of it. Now our chickens end up eating a lot of ours, but I don't see that as a loss because I eat a lot of chickens. And these are really, really cheap. There's really no reason not to get one. You see what it says on the end here? $9.99. Now I did a bread machine video a while back and people went out to the store and bought bread machines just like me. Because I have never bought a used bread machine. But I'm going to tell you something. I have had 7 of them. This will be my 8th. This is my 8th bread machine. Every bread machine breaks in about a year. So you don't want to go buying something that's going to break in a year. But it's easy to check and see if this machine is going to break right now or is going to break in a year. First thing, you open it up and look at it. This thing has never been used. Somebody may have baked 1 loaf of bread with it. And it's just like an Atari. After it gets old, you don't want it no more. You move on to the next new toy and you donate to Goodwill. Every Goodwill I have ever been in, every Salvation Army, every store like that has always got a bread machine somewhere, and they are always around $10. Every bread machine I have owned that broke right here. Bread pan. This bread pan has got an impeller that mixes the dough. That is the Achilles heel of all bread machines. If you can reach in here and turn that impeller, you got a good bread machine. Another thing is to make sure it's in there, because I have been at Goodwill's and looked in the bread pan, no paddle. You can't bake bread without that. But if that works, you got a working bread machine. I have never seen a bread machine where the heating element went out or the timer went out or the computer chip went out or any of that. It's always that impeller and the bearings on that little shaft. So if you got a bunch of flour or wheat berries and you want to make bread every other day, get your bread machine, get it used from the Salvation Army, pay about $10, and then when you get to the end of the world as we know it, your reserve of flour will be fresh. Don't want to survive? Don't listen to me.